Don't just be another foreigner, be a local Laowai.
Welcome back to Local Laowai, the show that gives you everything you need to know for a smooth transition to life in China. I'm Donnie Newman. So, your teacher just hit you with a massive amount of homework, and you already have a quiz tomorrow in geography. Not to mention the speech and presentation class.
嘿，东尼，不要忘了，还有全篇背诵9遍。
The workload here can catch up on you fast, fall a little behind, and it's easy to panic. That's why it's imperative to employ effective and efficient study habits. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how Laowais hit the books. Now, in terms of where to study, your first instinct might be to head back to your dorm room. No matter how modern or not modern your dorm room is, you can rest assured there will be a desk there for you to utilize. Although, one thing about studying in the dorms, if you plan to burn the midnight oil quite often, your roommate might be a bit of a hindrance.
Or you might not have any midnight oil, so to speak, to burn in the first place. Some old school campuses have a set lights out time every night after which the electricity is turned off.
Or, if you're like me, you may prefer to study somewhere away from your room. Luckily, Chinese campuses designate whole glass rooms just for this purpose.
These study rooms are called 自习室, or self-study rooms, and as you can see, they're pretty popular. To find a self-study room near you, ask a teacher, Chinese friend, or simply look for a bulletin board in the first floor of the main classroom building. Many times, the self-study rooms for that day are indicated on the board.
Now, if the study hall vibe isn't exactly your thing, there are always cafes. Cafes, and coffee culture in general, are extremely popular nowadays on Chinese college campuses. Just like back home, college area cafes just have a great social vibe to them. Of course, if music and loud conversation easily distract you, this might not be the best place for you to study. But if not, bring your books and come on down. Or, better yet, get a study buddy and come together. Like who, you may ask? Follow me. Here's an obvious fact. Language is all about communication. That's why, no matter what you're studying for, even if it's memorizing a list of new characters, it's always better to have someone there studying with you. So, who are the best candidates for study buddies? Here's something a little less intuitive. While it may be tempting to group with your friends from your home country, your international classmates are infinitely better study buddies. Like my friend Hannah here.
안녕하세요.
So, why is Hannah here better than that American you know from down the hall? First of all, your international classmates are in the same boat as you. They'll be working on the same assignments, and their Chinese proficiency level will be around the same level as yourself. Secondly, ideally, they do not speak English. Hannah here, being from Korea, is a good candidate. Right, Hannah?
What?
Perfect. If your study buddy doesn't speak your native language, you'll be forced to communicate in Chinese, doubly reinforcing exactly what you're studying for. Plus, you'll both be coming at Chinese from different angles, and you'll be able to supplement each other's knowledge. For example, some things about Chinese a Korean might be able to understand better, for example, a certain character or a set phrase. Other things, like English import words or certain grammatical structures, you might even be able to help them out.
东尼，这个什么意思？
Finding a native Chinese language partner is another great way to practice your Chinese, especially if you find that most of your friends from class speak English. And when I say strictly, I mean strictly. If your language partner's English is relatively good, it may be tempting at times to switch over just for a little bit. Don't do it. If your language partner has a tendency to switch over themselves, politely ask them to stick to the rules. Speaking of rules, the best language partnerships are the ones with clearly set parameters, especially with the opposite sex. Unsurprisingly, language partnerships have a reputation for blossoming into romantic relationships.
While this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it can be if the expectations from one side did not match up with the other. So if you're just in it for language practice, make it known early.
也就在这个单词的前面，明白了吗？
So that concludes our episode on studying. Follow these tips and panic over your workload no more. Well, at least a lot less. What's this mean? Hana, 这个是什么意思啊？
泡菜啊，kimchi.
Kimchi. Go figure. See you next time.
Tune in for the next episode when we review our coverage of student life. Until then, be sure to keep sending in your questions at locallaowai@bon.tv. I'm Donnie Newman, and we'll see you next time.